Hey guys, I'm back. It's been a little while. I'm not doing so hot at keeping up with everything. So I'm officially an RN, yay. I want to rewind to how I got the job. I started off as a CNA at one of the hospitals in my area, and that was supposed to be my in as an RN for when I graduated, because I know jobs are scarce. During my last year of nursing school, I had my preceptorship in the ICU of a smaller local hospital, and it's a very good hospital. I really enjoyed my time there. I learned a lot. I met the nurse manager. I think I made a good impression. She ended up hiring me before I even graduated school and passed my boards. Okay, so that fast forwards to taking the NCLEX. I didn't wait very long after graduation. I know you've probably heard time and time again not to wait. I actually took it in June. By the time we got our authorization to pass, all the times in June were at like 5:30 in the morning, and it's an hour away. And then if you wanted a better time, like at 10 o'clock, 2 p.m., you'd have to wait till July, and there's more spots open. So I didn't want to wait. So I signed up for June 1 at 5:30 in the morning, booked a hotel room 3/4 of a mile down the street from the testing site. Went to the testing site before, the night before, knew where I was supposed to be, woke up at, what time did I wake up? They want you there a half hour early. So I woke up at 4, rolled out of bed, got a coffee, went straight there. I was there by like 4:30. So that was nice. There was very little stress. I knew I would get right there. I knew I was close. I knew exactly where I was going. I definitely recommend that. The other thing I recommend is don't study the day before. All you're going to do is psych yourself out, make you realize that there's so much that you don't know still and so much that you wish you could have prepared for, and that's not going to help you at all. So all I did the day before was I looked at some lab values, kind of reviewed that a little bit, because that's kind of concrete stuff. I didn't do any questions. I still had some left in the program I was supposed to do, not too many, but I had done most of what I was supposed to do. I took the Kaplan course. I thoroughly recommend it. They definitely get you ready. Their level questions that they end up working you towards are the hardest style questions you can ever receive on the NCLEX. So I remember taking a 265 question test on Kaplan. You worked up to this one. This was the hard one to prepare you. It took me hours to do. It's supposed to prepare you for the NCLEX if you end up getting the 265, and it was all the hardest level questions, and I hated taking that test, but that definitely prepared me. I ended up passing the NCLEX in 75 questions. I had no clue what I was doing. I never felt sure about any of my answers. I walked out saying I either failed so miserably that the test knew at 75 that I was a complete utter failure, or that somehow I magically passed. So you register on Pearson VUE. You can pay for the early 2-day results or whatnot. Don't do that. Go to your state board of nursing. For me, it was Maine. Went on the Maine State Board of Nursing, kept searching my name. At first, even after the test, it said registered nurse pending exam. And I kept checking. I took a nap because, I was up early. And I woke up later and I checked it again, and it said registered nurse and my RN number. And I got the results the same day. I don't think most people do. I think it's because I took it so early in the morning. Most people were able to find out the morning after. So that was an amazing feeling, and then I had a week off before I started orientation. It was the best thing ever. You go so hardcore in nursing school, and all you do is questions and study, and just to have that week off, it's just, I got lazy, honestly. I didn't want to do anything. It was great. So now I'm into orientation. I did the first week of, the general hospital-wide, practicing, IVs, all that, point of care testing, making sure you're up to par on that. So we did all that, and this past week I had my first 2 shifts. They didn't throw me to the wolves. They know I'm new. So I worked with the nurse, had a couple patients. It was really good. Got registered for the Pyxis. That was kind of cool. I'll tell you, the first week when I got my badge, I kept staring at it. Said, BSN, said RN, said, the big RN tag at the bottom. It felt so good. I still don't feel real. I still feel like I'm a CNA, or it's just a weird feeling. I'm sure it'll sink in, but so that's been good. Orientation, I was petrified to start my first shifts. I had no idea what I was getting into. I didn't know if they were going to throw me to the wolves or not, and they didn't. I know it's going to get harder once I'm expected to have more autonomy, so I guess my plan is to get there early when I do actually have my own patients. Brush up on, the more common medications that the hospital uses that I'm going to have to use. I think the thing that I'm most afraid of is, learning all the policies, when they come back up from the cath lab. So I'm going to be nights and I'm going to be float, which is hard for a new grad. So I took this position because even though float will be a huge challenge, floating between the different units, I'll be ICU, med-surg, and telemetry. I picked this job over the one that I started off as a CNA at because I feel like I will gain a lot of experience and it will be a lot more worth it in the long run. So I guess my advice for you guys is if you're still in school and you're doing clinical and you're doing your preceptorship, I'll tell you the way to get any job is either being in that facility already as a employee, or making a really good impression when you're there as a student. Talk to as many people as you can, meet the nurse manager, even ask to shadow later on, maybe when you're studying for the NCLEX, and make your face, because I'll tell you with the market now, that's the way you're going to get a job where you want to. And obviously not everything's realistic. Like most new grads don't get in the ICU. Most new grads, don't start at all these really intense positions. A lot will end up in long-term or psych, and some people really want to go there anyway. But so what you're really interested in, make an impression, try to get in there for clinical. And I want to say that when you're going through it, think of how many other people have been through it. That's kind of what keeps me going. I say, okay, I'm not the first new grad nurse that's ever existed. In fact, all these other nurses have been new grad nurses. It could have been 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. It doesn't matter. And don't put up with what they might say to you. I haven't experienced that yet as an actual RN. But I kind of tried to set my psyche into understanding that when it happens, because it will, that it's not personal, that I'm going to try to view them as, okay, they've been in my position before. Don't argue with them, and just, try not to perseverate on what happened, because it's going to ruin your entire shift and throw you off and make it hard for you to concentrate. NCLEX-wise, don't kill yourself. I still had a life. I still worked. I still exercise. I'm still planning a wedding, buying a house. Okay, so there's a lot going on for me. I don't know how I made it this far. But you can have a life. Don't be one of those crazy type A people that become a hermit inside forever. Just have a life. Study a few hours a day, if that. Do your practice questions. Do exactly what your review course tells you to do. And then my biggest advice when it comes to NCLEX is don't panic, because everyone that I know hasn't passed, which most have. They psych up the NCLEX, but it really has like an 86% pass rate. I don't know. I can't explain it. But the few people that I know that have not passed in like the last year or this year are the very, very nervous type A people that try to think that they can memorize everything, but they can't. You have to accept that. You have to accept that you can try to make yourself well-rounded in your knowledge, but you're not going to know everything, so don't panic, because that psychs you out. So you need to keep calm, and I guarantee you will pass the NCLEX. Just do everything that your review course tells you to, and remain calm, and don't stress the night before. Get a good night's sleep, eat well. That's my advice for you. Hopefully I can remember to make a video again about my more experience as a nurse and how I've kind of progressed and learned. So yeah, hit me up if you guys have any questions. I'm really excited at what's happening, and it's just flown by. All right, thank you guys.